indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Regular school committee meeting, May 1st, 2017, is now open. School committee member student report, school committee chair report. There is no information to report. Resource committee, Mr. Stevens.
Resource committee, we met this evening. We approved the minutes from April 3rd resource meeting. We discussed the grants and donations to be submitted or accepted. Mr. Jokela presented preliminary information on the budget, and I believe you're going to speak on that. No, I mean,
sure, I can.
Oh no, I mean, I didn't know if you were going to give any more information, but we will be discussing the budget on May 15th. That'll be the first presentation. First presentation. Thank you.
Any questions from the committee? Seeing none, school building needs, that would be you again, Mr. Stevens.
Yes, that was part of resource committee, and we talked about in building needs in the budget, some of the projects that need to be done in the school system. One of the big ones is a retaining wall at South Street School, which will be started about the day after the closing of school this year. That's it on school building needs.
Any questions from the committee? Seeing none, student support committee, Ms. LaBelle Pierce.
We have nothing new to report tonight.
Thank you, Ms. Pierce. Any questions from the committee? None. School personnel committee, we will be meeting on Thursday for the continuation of the negotiations regarding the nutrition contract. Executive committee, there's no need for that. Student report.
So the
Ladies?
The Fitchburg Public School Gala is held on May 6th. And FHS National Honor Society members are going to be volunteering. There's going to be a talent show at Fitchburg High on May 9th, and the Fitchburg High Prom is being held Saturday, May 13th.
Where is that?
It's at the Mount Wachusett Lodge.
Oh, okay.
What time's the talent show?
I believe it's at 7.
7?
Yeah.
How many participating in that? Do you know?
I'm not sure. I haven't heard much.
Yeah. Okay. Questions?
Yeah.
Oh, the other half. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead. Yeah.
So throughout April, the attendance rose back over to 90% each day, which was an increase from like the mid to upper 80s in January and February. So we were optimistic about that, seeing the 90s on the whiteboards everywhere. Today, the AP exams all started, and they go until next Friday. So they were further subsidized to $15 per test, which was very much appreciated by all the students taking multiple tests. And we're taking them mostly at Fitchburg State, but some of them are at Fitchburg High. It just depends on the test and the day. And for the seniors, this is their last month, so they have their Scholars Banquet, the Alumni Awards, and their Senior Awards coming up, and their last day is May 26th.
Great. Questions? Yes.
How do you know? How do you get over to Fitchburg State? Do you guys take a bus, or do people drive over there for the AP tests?
So personally today I parked on a side street and then just walked into Hammond, but there was also parking at the Civic Center, and then there's a shuttle that comes every 5 or 10 minutes.
So students get themselves to the
yes.
campus? Mm-hmm. Okay. And everybody got there?
Yeah.
Any further questions?
One comment. For all you Fitchburg High School graduates out there, May 17th, Wednesday, the alumni annual meeting where we make awards to the graduating seniors. And please join us May 17th, Fitchburg High School.
What time?
7 o'clock.
Great. Any further questions? Thank you, ladies. Approval of the minutes of the regular school committee meeting of April 3rd, 2017.
Motion. Second.
Motion made, seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed, it is unanimous. No need for an executive session. Communications. Seeing none. Public comment. Is there anyone here wishing to make a public comment? Seeing none, we move on. Superintendent's report. Mr. Ravenel.
Okay, just a couple of updates. It was already mentioned, the gala on Saturday. As of this afternoon at 4 o'clock, we had 220 people signed up to come. Incredible gifts and prizes for a silent auction. It's looking like it's going to be a great time. And then also on Thursday, we're having our big rollout of Footsteps to Brilliance, which is our early literacy program. And we have 80 people coming to that event. That's going to be at the high school, and I've got to remind myself to call FATV. FATV out there. We're looking to see if we can get FATV to record it. But it should be a lot of fun. The band is going to play as the guests arrive, and then the chorus is going to have a song that they're going to sing in the middle of it, and we're going to talk about the program and what we're doing. So we've got legislators and all kinds of community partners and other superintendents from visiting from around the area. So we're really looking forward to that. It's been a long time in coming, and it's finally here. One of the days that I was leaving here after a meeting, I don't know if it was in the afternoon or at night, I can't remember now, but I'm walking through the lobby and saw some folks and said, "What are you doing? What is this program?" And I found out that it was Beth Foley, and it was one of our after-school programs, and it was the Civic Air Patrol. I didn't know what the Civic Air Patrol was. So I've been in communication with Beth and getting more information about it. We've given them an official banner, and I said, let's have some of your students come to school committee and have yourselves come and not only share with us, but share with the community at large what the Civil Air Patrol is and what we've been doing. And it's also for a chance for all of you to see one of the after-school programs that the gala is supporting. So with that, Beth and Joe Zwerbilia is here with you. So if you can come and introduce your students and talk about your program. And then you have a little presentation you said. Yeah. We get that box out of the way. It's the box of our labels, so all of us are unlabeled.
So this is Major Zwerblia, and he's out of the Worcester Cadet Squadron, and he's been partnering with us to try to get
Pull up
the
some
Fitchburg
chairs.
Cadet
Sit
Squadron
right at the table.
up off the ground. And these are two of our cadets. This is Jaylene Palladian and Karine Palladian. And they're in their dress blues for us tonight because it's a special occasion. Civil Air Patrol provides middle and high school with cadet support and student support. It's a character education curriculum that they provide. It's nonprofit. It was chartered by Congress in 1946. It's affiliated with the Air Force, but there is no obligation or pressure to enlist in any way. We talk about the core values that you saw out on the board, those being integrity, respect, volunteer service, and excellence. And the cadets model that every day. Besides coming to the after-school program, which is 2 hours every Tuesday, they also do outings. They do hikes. They will be flying planes this summer. They went to a lecture at the Weymouth base this weekend.
Shea Naval Air Museum.
This past weekend. So they do, it's a meaningful school activity. It keeps the kids off of the streets and out of trouble. They learn a lot. They do an awful lot. They park cars at the Lime Foundation. They parked cars at the Sterling Fair last year. They do a lot of volunteer things. It also focuses on STEM, cyber skills, robotics, engineering, aerospace, and it brings a lot to the table, I think. And the kids love it.
So, Joe, can you tell us a little bit about yourself and your involvement in this program?
Again, my name is Major Joseph Zwerblia. I'm in Civil Air Patrol, based out of Worcester. I was a squadron commander at Worcester Cadet Squadron for many years. Now, I'm also with the squadron, but as an advisor, and I'm also on staff at Massachusetts Wing Headquarters, which is at Hanscom Air Force Base. But as you can see, these cadets next to me, the Palladians, they look sharp in their Air Force blues. They've been in CAP for a short time, but they're great cadets. They've done a lot of exciting things. And as Beth, I can only thank Beth for telling a little bit about Civil Air Patrol. But it's really a wonderful opportunity, low-cost program for cadets and for adults, and for the things that they can do. Basically, we offer a drug-free, safe environment, a safe haven. We provide some discipline. We provide some structure. We have our youth leadership program. There's discipline, there's drill, there's teamwork, working together, a lot of hands-on activities, whether it's aerospace education or team-building activities such as a hike. Recently, Captain Buckland took the group on a hike at Leominster State Forest. And again, you heard this past weekend, we were in South Weymouth for a one-hour tour of a naval museum there, and an author that made a presentation about a family during World War II. The cadets, again, our focus is aerospace education, cadet programs, emergency services. For those of you that have heard about Civil Air Patrol, we do get involved with planes that maybe go down. That's more out west. Here in Massachusetts, if a plane goes down, it's located right away because we're so congested. But out west, Civil Air Patrol teams will go out and find down aircraft. They do get involved with Homeland Security, such as hurricanes, tornadoes, disaster relief, working to provide, we have a big aircraft fleet, and we can photograph terrain areas where there's disaster, and then our folks on the ground can hand out water and do assessments. So there's lots of things going on with Civil Air Patrol across the nation. But here locally, I want to thank you for this partnership with Fitchburg, with the middle school here. I think it's great, it's exciting. We're ramping up. It takes time to roll the program out, but there's so many resources within Civil Air Patrol. Beth mentioned about cyber skills. Well, we have a Cyber Patriot program that we've participated in the last 2 or 3 years, where our young cadets are challenged on a national competition to use their computer skills to compete against other Civil Air Patrol teams in cyber college security. They're better at it than I am. I mean, these gals and our other cadets, they're our future, and those are great paying jobs. You don't have to go into the Air Force. We don't promote you to go in any branch of the service. We're a volunteer program. We're an auxiliary United States Air Force. We just want these young cadets to be structured, have a plan, go to school, go to college, world of work, or if they want to go into one of the service academies, that's fine. But we do not, push them in one direction other than a forward direction, and stay in a clean and drug-free, safe environment. Cadet flying, they will get up and fly in some of our Civil Air Patrol aircraft with a pilot, and at no cost to the cadet. That's exciting. They get those orientation flights. And they'll either be out of Worcester or Fitchburg, because some of our CAP planes, the maintenance is done right here in Fitchburg. Upcoming event is the Fitchburg Aero Fair. We participated last year. Great time for families to get out and what's going on here at the local airport. We'll be there for that. I know Beth mentioned about STEM. We have UAVs, or otherwise known as drones. We have those types of kits, as well as other things that we'll be rolling out. So I think it's really exciting, this partnership with Fitchburg. I know a lot of people do not know about Civil Air Patrol, and it's just one of the things we always struggle with, how to get the message out. But I really want to thank Beth and the school committee and the superintendent, everybody for allowing us to get here within the schools and tell the story about Civil Air Patrol. So with that, you got a video to show, and then these two young ladies, they're really our testament to Civil Air Patrol. They're new, and I'd like them to tell a little bit of their story.
Okay.
You want to do the video
Sure.
first?
Thank you.
This is a Civil Air Patrol recruitment video that they run pretty regularly.
And it's pretty exciting when they fly in those planes.
bet.
It was running before,
It was
wasn't it?
running. It was running before I closed it. We're only 12 seconds in.
Maybe if you close it down and
Yeah,
reopen it.
refresh, yeah.
Has it been closed down too long? I mean, paused too long, is that what?
Yeah, just shut it down and then go back to the, go back.
It might be a
Oh, there we go.
It might.
Queuing up.
I don't, they can open those doors though.
I see a pro.
I think it's supposed to be like kind of rain.
Progress bar.
Hmm.
It looks like it just stalled out. Yeah. Yeah, what if you drag it back?
Drag
that to the
left. It's right here. and that's it.
So you may have to shut it down and reopen it.
Just to get out of it altogether.
I was hoping I could just refresh it.
There's that one.
That's the one.
Is it volume too?
It had sound when we tried to do it, so.
Speakers are plugged in, right?
This is saying the volume's off.
Is there an icon down the bottom?
Yeah, there is, but I have, when I click on it, it says.
We should let them do it. They could probably fix it in 2 seconds, right?
Something.
It's on now, but,
But we had volume
yeah.
when we tried to.
No.
The little speaker button is pushed in.
You got that one, it goes up, it looked like was at the
I mean, there
bottom.
aren't words to it anyway, minus this music to it, but.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry. I'll help you. Okay.
And so any students from the age of 12 on up can join Civil Air Patrol. So for us, it's mostly grades 6, 7, and 8.
And that's a perfect age to, to come into Civil Air Patrol.
How big is the group at Memorial?
Our group here averages anywhere from 8 to 10 cadets most weeks. We've had up to 15. Not all of them have enrolled as a full-time cadet. For that, I think we're at 5, correct?
Okay, that
This
was
is
the,
very
that
nice.
was the video. So why don't we just hear from the students?
Okay. You guys are up.
Okay. Introduce yourselves and tell us about your experience.
My name is Cadet Airman Jaylene Pallady, and I'm 12 years old. I've been in Civil Air Patrol since about October, and I've earned my first rank so far, and working on the second one. So far in Civil Air Patrol, I've learned a lot about leadership and how to become a better leader, and the core values, and how to incorporate that into your everyday life and become a better person, be nicer, and become more involved with things, the community.
Did you get involved with Wreaths Across America as well?
Yes. So Wreaths Across America was a fun time where we got to go to the Veterans Memorial Cemetery, and we laid wreaths across all the veterans' graves.
Oh, sweet.
And then another thing we did was we went to the Mass Wing Conference, And that was where we got to speak to everybody and learn different classes about different things about Civil Air Patrol. And we got to learn about encampment that we're going to be going to this summer. Encampment is like a boot camp.
For
but
a week.
Yeah, for 8 days. So you start on day 0, work up to day 7, and you learn a lot. And you'll be able to learn a lot and do a lot that you wouldn't have done without Civil Air Patrol.
That's right. And that's going to be at, on the Cape at Joint Base Cape Cod.
Nice. That's great.
And how about
that's
you?
At no cost to the cadets.
Wow.
And they have scholarships.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, we earned our scholarships for that. My name is Cadet Airman Cruz Palladian. What? What? Louder. I don't know what to say.
How about the parade? One of the first things you guys did was color guard in the Worcester Parade, right?
Yeah, we've done the Veterans Day Parade, which was right before we laid the wreaths across the veterans' graves. And in that, I did the squadron flag and the color guard.
So you learn lots of different things, color guard, marching,
Yeah.
Respect for flag, community service. I mean, it's one of the components of the things, we march in all the parades locally in Worcester, but we get involved with Reach Across America and in other events, and it's just part of character development. And
May I ask a question? So, how did you two find out about the program?
At the beginning of the year, our captain now, he came to the school and did a whole entire assembly and a presentation.
So how many are there? From Memorial?
And you're in the program?
There's 5.
5 that have signed up, and it's $31 a year for them to be in, and they've committed to a year more than just the after-school program. And on the after-school program, we average 8 to 10, but we've had as many as 15.
So they have to pay, they buy their own uniforms, or?
No.
No, that's provided.
They get a voucher to do their dress blues.
Once you get your first rank, which we did, then you get a $100 voucher to get your first uniform.
Minus their shoes. Everything else would be covered minus their shoes.
Now, what do you have to do to get your first rank?
You have to take a drill test, a PT test, and the Chapter 1 leadership quiz.
Oh, nice.
so they do have books or CDs where there's leadership manuals, and then there's also aerospace modules. So it's they're all on CD or they're all online. They can take their test online, or if cadets have difficulty testing, then we also have paper copies where we can do one-on-one testing for that individual. But it's a self-paced online learning. It's open book. It is timed. It's at some point
30
after an
minutes.
hour or 30 minutes, then they'll drop out. But these young ladies are sharp, and they're doing drill, they're doing PT testing. And the PT testing is age-related. So as the older you get, that mile run is going to be at a certain speed and time, and as opposed to that 12-year-old cadet. Sit-ups, push-ups, and things like that. But we do a lot of stuff together as a team. PT, and it's an important part of the program. But they've done great. They really have.
Yeah.
I have 3 questions. Did I hear you say you were flying this
Yes.
weekend? So
They over in the summer they will be flying.
they're on
Literally,
their
they
own?
with a
With a
pilot.
pilot.
What happens
I
is
mean,
they
but they'll
fly
actually-
with a
Yes,
Civil Air Patrol
with a
pilot.
pilot.
So we have planes that we based around the state, and they will hook up with a Civil Air Patrol pilot. And they'll go for an orientation flight. So normally it's one pilot, 2 cadets goes up, 1 cadet will be in the back seat, 1 cadet will be up front, and at some point, the pilot will have that cadet fly the airplane. But there's a series of steps that they go through. But the pilot's always in charge.
Okay.
So there's a number of orientation flights that they go to that builds up to some point where they do a little more flying.
So if they
Wow.
choose to later on become a pilot, will those hours accrue and they can use it?
It certainly helps them.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, you got to go to ground school and get a pilot's license is much more intense. But this is an orientation program to introduce them to flying, to get them flying with a CAP pilot, and to take over the wheel.
Okay, so that's
No cost. There's no cost.
question 2. If they choose to go into any branch of the service, does this give them a leg up?
Yes.
Yeah,
Certainly.
the Air Force. If it depends on where your rank is, then you can get like some things you start off like an E1. Like once you get a certain rank, you can become an E3, and then you get different things for
If you
it.
become a cadet officer, so if you're in the program
Very sweet.
and you become a cadet officer, and that's a major milestone, it takes probably about 18 months, 20 months to get to that point. And if you decide to go in the Air Force, you automatically step up in rank. So that, what that translates into is dollars in your pocket.
Yep.
Okay. Many, some of our cadets have gone on to the different academies. West Point, the Air Force
Right,
Academy.
so sort of gets them a little bit closer to the top of the list.
Yeah.
Third question, if they choose to go to college, are there scholarships
Yes, there
that you
are.
offer?
There are scholarships, but they're more for like colleges that involved with aviation or aerospace engineering. So there are a number of schools. If you're going to follow that path of aviation or aeronautics or aeronautical science, then there are scholarships available. That's attractive.
Webster does it.
Yeah.
Okay, nice. Webster,
Yes.
it's right on.
I have three questions too, I think. One of them is, I'm interested in what you talked about, cybersecurity and that cyber piece, because we had a cyber camp here one summer.
We did it.
And did you go to it?
We both attended.
Oh,
You
that's
both
great.
attended. So that didn't continue, and I want to continue it. So I'd like to figure out who do I need to speak to. I'd also like to offer this to the other schools and find out if there's any interest, because this could be a component of the after-school program, which can take place at any school.
Right.
And then both of those areas are real job markets. And I think I said that here. 60 Minutes had a thing that there's a shortage of 40,000 pilots in this country right now. So that's definitely an area. And I guess I have four questions. So you mentioned the color guard piece. Tell me a little bit more about that.
Okay, so color guard is the people that march in the front of the parade and represent colors. So colors include like the rifles and the flags.
Yeah.
So the flags, we usually have a 4-man color guard. So there's 2 rifles and 2 flags, the American flag and the squadron flag.
Yeah.
You can go up to 5. Yeah, you can go up to 5 or even more if you have like all the flags and stuff. So I usually do the rifle and she does the squadron flag.
And do you have two other people from Memorial for that?
We haven't gotten anybody from Memorial because this is kind of like a new thing here, but we do it with Worcester Cadet Squadron.
Okay, but you need 4 people.
Yes,
Okay, so, and we don't have 4 here yet.
we do.
We
We
do.
have
We
5
gotta
that have
start
signed up.
training.
We just haven't trained them to do color guard yet.
Oh,
But I'd love to see them come out at
can
the
you
whole.
train them by Thursday? No. I wanted to have a color guard as part of the event on Thursday, but,
I was thinking it would be nice to have them at maybe some of the home football games.
yeah, well, that's why I think it's it's an important component, and right now we have a junior ROTC program at the high school.
Oh, you do?
And our goal is to expand that. So, there are just so many opportunities that this type of program can offer students.
Now,
And-
those cadets that are in the junior ROTC program, they could also be involved with Civil Air Patrol.
Well, because that's what I'm thinking, is because they're going to get to the high school and go, okay, now what? What's
That's what I was going to ask, what
What's
happens
the
after
opportunity?
middle
So-
They can
school?
stay in.
So I'm
until
trying to
they're
think
23.
ahead, that we need to create opportunities so that this, just like we do with the Honors Academy, things that go, okay, this is the next step.
In Worcester, we do have a cadet that does ROTC too. He does both.
Okay,
You can do both.
okay, good, so that I want to talk, okay, I'm done.
Well, that was my question, was what's going to happen after middle school, and where you're going to go from there. The other one I just had as a comment, getting old, a friend of mine who I had breakfast with just this past Thursday, we were talking about his father, probably was one of the original Civil Air Patrols in Fitchburg, and he used to go flying with him. Sometimes they would fly down to the Cape, and and his father was in it quite a while out of Fitchburg Airport. And so it's been around.
My younger brother was back in the 80s. That's how I knew about it.
Well, I'd started after WW2, so.
A little before the 80s.
It's really one of America's best kept secrets.
Yeah.
Yeah.
for what, the cadets can gain out of the program, they can go at their own pace, or some cadets really speed along and they're superstars. It all depends on what they want to get out of the program, contribute to the program. And some of the cadets really take off. They really do. And for others, it's a form of a little bit of structure, a little bit of discipline. It's really, it's a low-cost program. I mean, for what the investment, for membership. They get an ID card. Have you seen their ID cards? I think they're wearing them. They get an ID card.
Oh, nice.
And then, again, there's all the online materials that they have. So when you become a member, there's the secure side, the Civil Air Patrol, so they sort of have their own portal, their own area where they can go in and update their profile and do their own testing. And then we have ways to track reports to see how all the cadets are doing, and, throughout their learning phase. But again, these young ladies have only been in the program for a short time. They're a great testament to Civil Air Patrol and the school. And, if they stick with it for many years, I can just imagine where they'll go. I mean, there's so many, activities within Civil Air Patrol. Once you get beyond like the summer encampment, it's like a boot camp. And once you get to the age of 16, now you can do national activities.
Right.
So it's really exciting. And then the cyber camps, I know they're talking about rolling that out now, sign up for cyber camps. I mean, I'm signing up for the summer programs where we'll do challenges, and then in the fall there'll be the full-blown competitions. The cyber camp, I think they host somewhere else. I'm not sure how, but I know what you're talking about. And all the schools can sign up. So Civil Air Patrol, your school could sign up. ROTC can sign up. But it's really, I don't think they charge you anything on it.
So I'll follow up with you on that, because I'm very interested in that and what we can do here. So there's definitely, this is definitely an area to pursue.
I'd just like to say I've seen a lot of growth in not only these cadets, but some of the other cadets that teachers were really surprised at, some of the kids that stepped up and how much they've committed, and watching them, practice their formations and learn to march, and actually going to activities that they never would have gone to before.
Have you noticed that it's increased your confidence in other areas?
Yeah.
You seem very confident.
Yeah.
They actually instruct the other cadets, because we have enough when there's 14 that we can divide into two groups, and they each take a group, and then they're each in charge of a different group.
Nice.
Great. Any age limit in terms of middle school? Is it?
No, it's ages 12 to 22.
So, okay,
So it
so
can
it
go
starts
up
at age 12.
21.
And then from there, you can become a senior member.
Great. Love your uniforms.
Okay.
Wow.
They look
Those
great.
are
Yep.
incredibly cool. Yeah. And you wear them well. Okay. Well, thank you
Thank
very
you.
much. And also, Beth, because none of this happens unless somebody steps forward and says, I want to do this extra piece. So, we really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right, we've had people here to tell you about a Washington, D.C. trip and a White Mountain trip. We have representatives here, John and Fran. I think you're here representing your trips.
No, I'm here for this.
Oh, you're here for them? Oh, okay.
Actually,
All right, well, then come up here, and do you have something you want to say to add to what's going
just
on?
if someone had some questions from a
Well,
school perspective, I would just.
Yeah, well, there
Super-
probably are.
Oh, wait.
I don't-
Superintendent-
I don't think they do.
There are.
I
You-
actually, I thought I would
Come on
just
up.
take that opportunity to say, so if people are watching and they are on the fence about whether they're going to go to the gala or support it, all the funds, the funds have gone to support programs like this. And then in the news this week, there was a nice piece about the fourth grade band at Crocker that's gotten reinvigorated through gala funds. And I know, Mr. Thomas, that there's another one, because my daughter's in the drama club that's meeting at Memorial and is funded through the gala. And they have, and this was kind of remiss, probably should have mentioned it, that they have a play that they're putting on May 12th. So there's just so much activity that I think the gala funds have really helped support. So I just thought I'd take that chance to kind of put a plug in there that support the gala, please. It goes directly back to kids.
So,
Yeah, I didn't want to take any of the limelight away from these folks. I just wanted to be here if you had any questions from a school perspective. So that's it.
So when you put in for a new airplane, we're going to know, what it's for.
No, Beth really took the leadership in this, but we had discussed programs like this as an admin leadership team last year, and trying to figure out how we could get the junior ROTC from the high school down to the middle school, and we found that there were a lot of transportation issues in getting our kids up to there to be a part of it. And then Beth said, I know of another program, so that kind of got the ball rolling. And like Superintendent Ravenel, with the advent of middle school sports and having home basketball games and things like that, in my mind, one of the first things I said, wouldn't it be awesome to have a middle school color guard to do the national anthem or the Pledge of Allegiance before those couple of those home games, that sort of thing. So it kind of took off from there. But the Palladian girls, they're just perfect role models. And like you say, you see that sharp blue uniform, so it's kind of like laying the groundwork. Kids are going to start, hey, where'd you get that uniform? What do you have to do that sort of stuff. And then when they come back and say, I flew this summer, it's going to kind of build up, and that's one aspect of the program. But the other stuff that gets kind of infused in there is what's really important. And I think one of the things that middle school kids struggle with is, I'm good at this, but what does that translate into? What is that? I like to text, or I like to be on computers, or I like this, but what kind of jobs does that lead to? So now you have a perfect example of saying, you can fly, you can be in STEM, you can do that sort of stuff. So it kind of opens up the horizons, and it's something that we're really glad that we got off the ground. But like Andrew said, Beth has really been the one that has been the driving force behind this. We had a couple of parent meetings. We didn't get enough, and Beth was like, we're going to do another one. We're going to do another one until we get, people in here. We're going to do another one. We're going to do another one. I'll have it online. We'll do it on the website, but we're going to stick with this. And Commander was fortunate enough. Normally, you have to have 12 members to start a chapter. And he said, well, you can pair with Worcester until you get your numbers up. So that was another big break for them and for us, that they were willing to work with us and be that flexible to get it going. So I think it's something that's going to grow in the future. And we're just really excited about it.
that's great. Can you give us a little notice if you're going to order the plane? Because we're going to have to sell a lot more tickets.
Yeah, okay. Well, we'll have to work on the landing strip out back, so I think we can get a helicopter
it's a very
down
short
there. But
one.
I'm not, yeah.
$3 million every trip you take?
Stop it.
See, I knew you had something to say. Great, thank you.
All right, thank you.
So we've got, the DC trip is the one that you've approved many, many times over. And this is here for the second, right? It's for the final approval. And then Jonathan is here from McKay. Jonathan, come on up for any questions you might have regarding the White Mountain trip.
Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Doing all right. How about you?
So, tell us a little bit about the White Mountain trip.
Okay, this is our second year at McKay that we're going. I know Long Joe had gone in the past, and this is our second year bringing it back at McKay. Last year, probably the biggest complaint was that it wasn't long enough. The kids had a fantastic time. It was an honor to take the kids back into the area where I grew up when I was a kid, and that I could climb, and I wanted to let these kids have an opportunity to go to the White Mountains, where some kids haven't even seen a picture of the White Mountains before. So it was a really great opportunity, and the kids were excited. And this year around, we have 40 kids going out of a class of 70, which is pretty great. Any kid who wanted to go was given the opportunity. If money was an issue, we came up with it for them. We actually just finalized all of our paperwork for medical forms and permission slips. Everything's all set, and I'm due to ship it up to Pinkham Notch. So The kids are excited. They're talking about it all the time. They're worried that they're going to be like, ice climbing up the face of Mount Washington, but it's exciting to see them because I tell them how much fun it is and that it's a working field trip, that we're not just going to be hanging around by the fire.
One day. Is it one day or is it?
No, it's actually 3 days and 2 nights.
Really?
Yep.
What do you, camp out?
No, we actually the Pickham Notch Lodge, which is in Gorham, New Hampshire,
Yeah.
is probably one of the more up-to-date lodges that they have in New Hampshire for the parks regions. A lot of the other ones, some of them have community bathrooms or etc. These are all self-contained. They're like little hotel rooms. There's a floor for the boys, floor for the girls. Never the two shall meet. Only unless we're outside having fun. They do a lot of community building activities with kids. So because McKay is that close-knit kind of community anyways, we're kind of going and building on those relationships that we have all year long at McKay.
Right.
Yeah.
Is this more kids than, how many kids went last year?
40.
40 went last year?
Yeah.
Okay, and is that the cost down there per student?
Which one?
That's the total?
That is the total.
Okay.
This year, we were going to try to make it a 4-night, 3-day, but just the money was just a little bit too higher. They could make us a better deal having a shorter trip and coming up on Sunday, and with buses, and I wanted to make it affordable for anybody. So that's why we kept it just under $200 per kid who could go. And we sold a lot of chocolate bars. I know I'm a little heavier because of that. But the kids loved it.
Do your
they were.
part, you just
I
have
do
to
my
your
part. Mostly the caramel, but I
Before you
do my
leave,
part.
there's a little bit more of it.
I know I'm staying away. I'm trying to get back on track. Okay, now that the kids are no longer selling chocolate.
Thank you, Miss Fleming. Yeah, thank you. Exactly.
My pleasure.
Oh, yes.
Are all the 5 adults teachers at the school?
There's 2 teachers.
Yeah.
2 female teachers, and myself and the male guidance counselor for the middle school are going.
Okay.
So we have the organization gives us an EMT trained mountain guide. Sometimes 2. That particular weekend we'll actually get 2 per
Great.
group. So we'll be in smaller groups because it says on the paperwork that'll be 1 to 10.
Yeah.
But it'll be even smaller because there's tons of stuff. I mean, there was one group that went to a waterfall, another group that went to this river basin, this old mill that they could see. The kids were fascinated. So this year it sounds like it's going to be even smaller, but it's only their responsibility. Our responsibility to them is to make sure that we have 1 on 10.
Okay. Thanks. Sounds fun.
Yeah, I can't wait. A couple of parents were upset that they couldn't come with us, but.
Any further questions?
Okay,
Thank
thank you,
you.
John.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Good luck.
Okay, so then, every year we have an appointment of a member to represent all of you. In the past, I've represented you to the FLAC Board, and I think Mr. Stevens has represented you to the CAPS Board. My name has been written in here, but it's, but you need to
We still
decide
need to appoint
whether
him.
Mr. Stevens is your nominee. And then there are just some school choice dispersions of funds.
Right.
And I think then a couple of donations, a donation to Crocker. Probably written here.
Simple
So, yeah,
powered machines.
Donation to Crocker, which is from Simple Powered Machine Set. It's on Lego Education for $169. And to the high school from Life Touch, Viking Drive, Eden Prairie, MN Computer, and Hannaford Supermarkets Help Schools Foundation. So, and those donations for Life Touch is $884.80, and from Hannaford's, $900. And that's it for the agenda.
All right. Okay. We have action items. Members, if you wish, we can bundle them, 17-841 up through and including 17-849. Yes.
I think we have to take 17844 to appoint, to nominate somebody.
Right.
To represent
8442.
CAPS.
Oh, okay. That's true. That and Flack, actually, right?
Mine's already in there.
Okay. Mr.
I
Stevens, you
think-
still willing to do this again?
Yes, but
All right.
I think, I know the superintendent, but I think we have to nominate him also
Okay.
to make it.
All right. Do I hear a
I
nomination?
make a motion that we nominate Andre Supernell for the
Second.
Flack Board.
Motion made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? It is unanimous.
And
Mr. Stevens for nomination to the CAPS Collaborative.
I move to nominate Pete Stevens for that position.
Second.
Motion made and seconded to nominate Pete Stevens to the CAPS Collaborative for 2017-2018. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? It is unanimous. Okay.
I think we can bundle them
We
all.
We
bundle
can
the
bundle,
rest.
bundle the rest of them. So we're going to bundle action item 17-841, 842, 843, 846, 47, 48, 49. Your motion.
Make a motion.
second.
Motion made and seconded to accept those previously stated action items. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? It is unanimous. There is no need for executive session. Do I hear a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
Motion made and seconded to adjourn. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? It is unanimous. Thank you.
A really big